Love is all I know, and whatever I see is smiling at me. Love is who I am. So hello there again, dear beloveds, and welcome to this video with me here today, which is actually the second part of the last videos about physical illumined beloved ascension that I will share before the time comes that I walk into this last chapter of my life and its fulfillment and completion and entirety of what God intended it to be. Before I begin, I wish to also express my gratitude to everyone who was supporting me so beautifully throughout all these years, okay? And all those of you who've shared your own beloved counterpart stories with me, I'm grateful that you're not giving up and giving in, because what I was shown since the very beginning is that this illumined union that we're here to perform and plant its seed will have a lasting impact on what God desires for these counterparts to be together once and for all again, as not just family, but also that first love that moves between the two as sacred divine lovers. And there's no one probably who knows and understands this love better than me, and yet this love for me is a highly devotional experience. And so when I saw years back the sacrifices that me and my own counterpart made to come here and to sacrifice our love to not be together for a time being, in order to help others to be together, and in order to help others to be with that love, to remember that love and to come together, is a huge mission undertaking. And it's, in actuality for me, the biggest, most important part, beyond even the teachings themselves, is to feel that love and to know that there's nothing greater than that love, the sacrifices that you were willing to make for it. And it's not selfish, it's not for self-gain, and that's why I said in the previous video, the last thing you can do is really just surrender a higher purpose aspect of this union, your union to God. I'm going to start this video, it's going to be a shorter one than the previous one, with the message that Aurea gave me as the last missing link of my purpose, of our purpose. I'm going to share the drawings with you and share some beautiful things that have been happening for me towards this final attainment. But I want to also start before I begin in 2019, when before I was interjected with transgression, I knew and I felt my beloved so closely, almost like he was just about to pop out. And yet, you know, it was a mysterious story, and still I think some things I will know only after being past that gateway, and some things they've showed me that I already talked about on Patreon. But for me, the biggest desire, the biggest pull would be the pull towards this love. This love, they said, that would ascend you and would pull you towards what you call as your first resonant home, which is that beloved. And for me, that beloved is two highly advanced beings who have been selfless and devoted to serving God. But it's also another higher aspect of it, which is Aurea. Aureon is two beings who envision that as the primordial Elohim envisioned that, and to create a story of a division within their union to create more, and for others to also know the seeds of their love, that this love is so immaculate and impeccable that in its way it can do whatever it wants, and no darkness can be a barrier and an obstacle to that love. Okay, so now past this transgression work threshold, I'm told that the last step, right, as you're going to see in the channeling I read you, is to reconnect that link back again that was kind of taken and hijacked from us at that point when I shared with you that I couldn't feel anything. It was like a brown paper bag over my head and no beloved connection or anything, right? So they had to use a lot of means to make me feel that love again, but in a way they weren't that purity that I know from home. And during the course of my human life, I've at the end now released every single desire to have a physical meeting, joining, merging with anyone other than that merging that was destined for ascension with my true beloved counterpart, who is my mission counterpart. It's one and the same for me. This was the message that's relating both to our ascension and the Illumined Union merging. Anchored and ready. It's called Anchored and Ready. They said, we had good news. The intelligences are gathering. We have been busy summoning them up, letting them know that the timing has come for our beloved's resurrection. That one being you, of course. And we have sent for news across the realms because, as you have once taught, I did a multidimensional course, Ascension. This will be a multidimensional ascension. Together in parallel in other 3D fallen and lesser realms, those who are ready will go through the same experiences. As we have not revealed yet, the Illumined Christ seed was planted by the Illumined ones in all of the realms in parallel. And so the parallel counterparts that were unaware of this so far are now beginning to remember, and equally and simultaneously all of them are beginning to feel intrinsically that the time for the homecoming is here. So there are many of us in these parallels that are remembering and being shown the way back home. And the reason why we have said that we need more time, they told me give us a little more time, is not because we are not ready yet, or without knowledge or some other reason which prevents us to be here, but because this entire parallel of ascension needs to line up perfectly or be lined up within the golden illumined spiral. So what we actually did and what the mission was anchoring the illumined seeds as angelic divine pairings. One was located in the fallen hijack realm, that was me, and the other one in the ascended realm. Both have been holding space from their own position, one here and the other one there. The reason why they both felt so close and connected, like you did with him, I'm not going to say his name, in summer 2019, is due to the mission link which always bonds you together during this mission quest. And so you were right when you said that he is your mission beloved counterpart, the divine partner in all of this, in all the Illumined saga, and the only one who knows and understands you as you're one and fully alike, because you shared the same mission seed of illumination. And as you are probably aware, he also completed his masculine part of the seed, and I'm not going to go into this, that's just for me. So since then, when I shared with you, and I shared the Star Being Rescue Mission video in November, and they've given me information what that was, but not in entirety, because said that the only way for me to know all the facts is when I pass the border where no hijacking is possible, which means I'm already with them at the gates. So this year in May, they said, they gave me the words, the descent of the true counterparts. It was both for me and for Florentina, right? Our beloveds would finally be safe, and they told me that in January that we're both well and fine enough now to do the same, because what I believe happened from my perspective is that in 2019 we were both in a way transgressed when he was walking the descent, right, the merge, towards the merge, and the union was somehow hijacked temporarily. So since then he's been with them at the gates, and they said we're going to try again, because the missing link is the linkage between you two, and the only thing remaining now is connecting you back fully. Not that we're not, but you know, configuration wise speaking, physically speaking, I'm still in this body as it once was. And as he told you in that channel session, that you must return to the way things were before, right, when I had this constant knowing and feeling of that love. Anyway, as this is truly our last step that's required, everything else but that is not really important to us. The dark ones are trying to show you that it is, giving you more tasks, right? But it isn't. It truly isn't, and that's why you feel such a strong urge to now let everything else go and everyone else go, to only create a space for you, for us. As he said, now it's my time to be with you in that session, meaning that all others must now step aside and be let go of. You were there for them, temporarily, but not anymore, as this is no longer a part of our plan. That's why such a dire need to be fully and totally alone, and to know everything else always is, from this point onward, a distraction. Anyway, when the two of you finally link up and entwine via tantric connection of the beloved counterparts of these royal angelic link-ups, it will send a strong wave-like energy out as an emanation. this way you would also connect with others within our group, which you once felt into and channeled during the pulsar. That was also in 2019. I felt them. I felt the other members of our clan. You now felt called and deeply urged to go on that hermit retreat and rest, let go of everything, and everything you've left for yourself until the end of this time. Focus on that without guilt or a sense of needing to be elsewhere or ahead of yourself. No need to rush. Try to be still and not succumb to physical and psychological stress that leads nowhere. We know that you have so many questions now, as it's still all being accelerated so suddenly, but we can't answer them all at once. The knowing, though, as you know, is always there. Even though Ascension feels so close and necessary now, time is still of the essence, which simply means that you need to feel timeless, meaning that there's truly enough time for everything. It's kind of a paradox, right? And we've got all that it takes, and you've got it. Even though frustrations and despair still come to the human life, you don't need to identify with it or give into it. And that's, like I shared, the dark keeps trying to tell me thoughts, but what if this doesn't happen? What if we don't succeed, right? Trust that we will give you all the information when the time comes. For now, go, rest, be still, and be with the beloved essence. And that's that. We guarantee success. Go forth and trust and enjoy. Don't be sad. What's coming is only of love and is therefore only good and benevolent. We are Aureus. So a part of their quest was not just to help me heal, right? Serving as these divine healers who go on missions with these divine pairings that are sent as divine seeds of Illumined Union. And like I said, this Illumined Union for me was always an essence. People saw me as alone. I was never alone. Physically, yes, but beings like myself were not alone. We exist in these pairings. We create everything, and that's why I said I've birthed everything from this union for the love of this union. So what happened right after that, it was probably a day didn't pass. We sat in our car, and there was the song playing. The song is in Croatian language, our neighbor language, and it was the song I never heard before, and funnily enough, it was created around the time of my birth, which for me was like, oh, how on earth? And I never knew the song, and it also went into an Eurovision contest, I believe. And the beautiful lyrics are just so beautiful. I felt to incorporate it in this video before I show you the drawings, because it's just so beautiful. And it just instantly, I know when he sends me that message. And a lot of you might resonate with that when it comes to your counterparts, because the song was like written as an imprint for those of us who are in this path. But for me, everything about the song really matched my feeling and my knowing. I don't know what the song is called. Is it the princess? Something with the princess. I can't remember how to even translate the song into English language. The princess. And these are the lyrics, just shortened. You live where the stars weave a silver rug and shines with innocence, your face as elusive as a shadow. You're setting up your flight. Your world is hidden somewhere. My world is you. Touch me with eternal love and stay with me, because you are a princess of another world. Your word works wonders. Be honest. Give me a smile just so I know you exist. I'm not alone. Somewhere off the planet. I still don't know if you're a star or a woman. In just a moment, that you exist like pink sea foam. I stand alone in the hall. Seagull's feet wipe the wave, but only slightly. Touch me with eternal love and stay with me. And then on repeat. And then my beloved, through this song he gave me, that was just last week. A princess of another world, far away and yet so close, as I forever keep you in my heart. Home is nigh, only nights away, in midsummer's dance, taking you there to be with me again. So, my dear beloveds, I think we're nearing the time when I show you the drawings. I think we're nearing the time of the end. Yeah, everything, as you know, everything that is beautiful has its ending, has its beginning and its ending, and I'm close to my ending. So the first thing I want to show you is the first of these drawings as a continuation that I saw. And this is the vision that I saw last year, I think in the summer, fall months, when I saw a vision of us coming together and pulsars coming from the sea, and we were pulsated together and we went home. So this is how it looks like. As you can see, two illumined beings here, somewhere on the shore by the beach. We're very happy, we're celebrating, we're dancing. And then these pods, right, these are pulsars, these are auras, they came. And as you know, they're channeling this golden spiral just as the sun is setting. And we're looking at them, and it was the time of the arrival. We're waiting of their arrival, the arrival of Aurea. And we're waiting their cue, and we're looking at one last time, and the mountains represents, like, for me, all the challenges of my life was one big mountain to walk through. And we're standing here, we're fully radiating, we're both in this merge form, and then we also need them. But in this life, how this expresses for me is that physical human beloved was my mother. She was my human companion, that we did not just choose to be doing the healing work. No, you have to know something. Years back, she received a message that she had another path she could have chosen as a soul being, that she could have chosen a life of being with her soulmate. But then she was also granted this opportunity to birth an illumined being, an illumined one, to be a mother to such an advanced, intelligent being. And she wanted that. She remembered herself, her initiative, and how she wanted to ascend. She had enough of this planet. She felt it's her time. She had enough wisdom, mastery. And when a being like that worries, you have to know, that's what Jesus the Christ told her, that when one is fully divine, they fulfilled everything. They became so pure in their essence. They've passed every single human test initiation. They've returned all their lower natures into high refined divine intelligences. That no matter what takes place, God will find a way for their ascension. And for her, it was through me, through us, through Aurea and our team and our home. And she became family through this life for me, and we'll never be separated again. So as you can see, this is the beautiful, this is kind of the dawning of ascension and the return of Aurea just at the setting of the sun. That's that. Then the next one is a little bit of that explanation of the illumined counterparts and the descent, right? So you have to know when they say the descent of true counterparts, it doesn't mean, oh, someone physically manifests right in front of you. They might. I'm not saying until I see it. My humor will remain until the very end of my being. But I see, like, we come halfway, and when we come halfway, our energies can fully be cultivated in that sacred hirogamic merge. But for us, like I said, it's not a human, two human bodies having that or holding that. But you can see now how this is through this principle. As I already explained this drawing our Patreon, I won't go in depth. I just wanted to show it to everyone here who's open to hearing something new, to hearing higher perspectives of what the union truly is, Illumined Union. And so here is, you see this human who fully embraced themselves again, the crown, the heart, and the root. The crown is this overarching, like a halo glow. They become fully an open channel for the divine. Their heart is, their threefold nature is in harmony and balance. The flames are not in imbalance, they're in complete balance. Their heart is resurrected as into the heart of the Christ. And the seed of life is the Elohim life, as the tantric here at the bottom, the spirit. So the crown, the heart, and the root, they're all merged. The human becomes a golden human. As you see, there's this golden, and human is like nested in a golden egg. Simultaneously, right? This rainbow ascension, everyone talks about the rainbow ascension or ascension into a rainbow body. The thing is, as I explained in the previous video, True Illumined Angelic Ascension, I talked about the septagram, or the seven seal of life, or your seventh emanation, or your angelic self. So basically, this for me, that was for me, drawing for me, my Illumined Ascension is occurring through this prism of life, Aurea, one, right? That's the seal, that's the signet, right, of complete perfection of two beloveds. And through the golden spiral, through that rainbow bridge, right, you go and you ascend through your own illumined prism of life. What happens as a result, you go into the spiral that is contained within your septagram or your soul star, right? Yeah, this is physical ascension principle. And this soul star, as you can see, gathers both information of the union from your higher feminine counterpart self and this higher masculine counterpart self. These are the two creation angels. As you see, they look a little differently. The feminine has this womb, the masculine has the eternal sun, because the masculine and the feminine perspectives or principles of life are embodied here. And so when you ascend this way, also you ascend to both this, again, I have to use that, wait a minute, to use this. So you actually ascend into your twin essence nature, which is overseen, overlooked by this hiragamic union of two higher creation angel aspects of, like for me, that's Aurea, Aurea. And this would be my human self as that beloved one of God, ascending this way. So that's just explained briefly, and that's how I drew it for me, right? That's the prism of life, is this, Aurea, and that's the signet, the seal of life, and that instantly is emanating from your angelic self, pulled into the universal principles of divine Father self, divine Mother self. For me, again, that creatrix prism of life is Aurea, Aureon. And so now I want to read you a poem that I made about their love, the love of Aurea, Aureon, okay? So you can have a bit of a feeling, not just see it in a picture. This love, which is their love, right? This higher love, elevated me, moved me deep beyond my human dreams, to a brighter world that yet exists beyond the threshold of gravity and density, the space beyond the clouds, and memories of how it is to be a human child. This temporary home can no longer hold love as great as ours is. They speak of greatness of true love, and yet they don't know it all. The greatest story ever told of lovers in between the realms, calling each other out. So that's now me and my counterpart. Calling out for their love to be requited and united under the legacy of God, so that it may travel freely through the stars again, just like it used to, when times were great. And then, for a cycle of time, they were not. And things were truly dark. And it's their loving sacrifice that turned it all around, so that the magic of immaculate love can return, and the days will be brighter again for everyone. Aurea eth Aureon, which means they're always with each other. Aurea eth Aureon. And for me, that love is something that's just ineffable, and you can't put it in a condensed form of what you as a human, with your incepted thoughts, believe love can be. The only way to truly feel this love is to surrender fully into it and surrender to God. That's another song I wrote. I have many, many poems that I believe most closely describes being free at last, being with each other, being home with each other. Looking back with no regrets, we've done it all, past each step, with flying colors, and now we rise in union with holy waters. Up the ladder we go, ascending with the Trinity of life, all becomes like once before. Before we descended in order to ascend, rise up with our star children who look at us with diamonds in their eyes. We are one, and yet we fly solo, as God is calling us now into a retirement home. One last look at all that's been passing before our eyes, as we look into the ocean one last time. Now we're flying, our spirits illuminating through our form, and nothing of the below is important anymore. No more push and pull, cause and effect. We are free to be ourselves. We are free to be home at last. So anyway, my beloveds, what will be some last remaining words to say? I really don't know. A leaf came out. It's like one last leaf, one last bit of a story to be told. Only one page remains. That's what they're telling me with this message. And that page, that leaf, can be only turned by me in my solace space. I really feel that after all the years of being, doing, serving, assisting, it's these last few months that I really get to deserve in this space and be in that space, although it's weird to be in a space of being just in the quietude and solitude of yourself when you were with others so long, not physically, but with so many people coming in and out all the time. So many beloveds thirsty for that love of the mother, of that union. And even in their own counterpart stories still, I always tell them there's more. Go beyond just the counterpart story. You have to search for the greater love. And that undying, that love that sacrifices itself, not to be selfish, but for others to drink of that same love. And that's for me the initiative of Aurea, Aureon, creating a division of themselves. So I think the last thing I can read you, I actually wrote this down yesterday, is just the mini sentence about their journey, their quest, their plan for ascension, their ascension map. Aurea, Aureon's master plan, the map of illumined design, began a long, long time ago when they first planned their illumined seed of love. They went into union, which initiated their first ever division. A part of this division became their first ever descent of their illumined form into an embodied form as their seed, their love child, that would carry their love and intelligence within themselves. With their elevation, there would be remembrance of their beauty, the joy, and the purity of love, also in this physical form. Eventually, that form would proliferate the essence of illumined life. In the end, at the ascension point of their lovemaking, a huge tantric wave would be created, which would help to penetrate that form, that embodiment, and take it into a premature elevation or a pre-death elevation or physical ascension. And that would also cause a huge wave of love to ripple out into others, all the other beloveds, all who are on the path of their own union and eventually illumined beloved union and ascension. I really wish that the most children who are children of God remember the innocence that they are children of God. No matter how smart they perceive themselves to be, the times will call for greater and greater clarion call to that love and to return to the essence of the simplicity of that love, beyond all the knowledge that was gathered, all that you think that, about yourself, about even your counterpart, that you go deep into the essence of what God wants and what is the legacy of our illumined union and quest and saga in this lifetime, that in the end of it all, and with all the great work we've had, that as a multidimensional part of it all, because Ascension is a multi-layered, multifaceted, multidimensional journey, the biggest part of it is that love, that illumined love. And that is also why I wanted to leave this video for last. The Cosmic Christ teachings will be dispensated, as already shared on Patreon. All my beloved union transmissions are there. They will be able to help every single beloved on the counterpart journey that wants to, that feels this call, that will ever find a way to this beautiful pathway. And remember, there's always more. That's the sentence that I always open with, and I want to end with this sentence. Remember that there's always more, and keep walking the path of expansion into a greater acceleration of the love that's so deep, so rich, so fulfilling. Then in the end, no human physical words can describe it, but the essence of your feeling and being in it. I wish you all that you come together with who you're meant to come together with in this lifetime, that no darkness is greater than the story that you've been writing for yourself, that has been written by God already, and that you allow yourself all the trust in the magic that will create this union. As my union is also unfolding in its own way, I hope that you can have reverence and respect for that, what it is, and that I know what I know in my own way, that no one can tell me otherwise, that this is birthed out of my own love, out of my own intelligence, and the way I began and entered as a single being, as on my own, I'm also going to exit as a single being, as on my own, without any other interferences, good or bad. Thank you for your times. Thank you for spending moments listening to me, sitting with me even when I didn't see you. Thank you for everything, your love, your support, but mostly may your path continue in the devotion for all that is sacredness, all that is of the Cosmic Christ, all that is of the Cosmic Beloved. I will also believe that I will put all the courses that were previously put on my webpage on Patreon, that everything will now just be accessed at one spot, on one point, and make it as simple as I can in these last few days, months, and that the continuation of the content will be there, as I will make sure of it in my own way. that God has a plan for that as well, but in the end, the only plan that remains is the absolution from this form that cannot contain this love anymore. This love has to be in union. This love has to come together, and that's the only way for me, is to have that union and to return to my home, to my beloved one, and to be setting on the next trail, on the next beautiful creation of ours, of all of us that is of God. Thank you, as always, with so much love, wisdom, and power. Enjoy your life. Create wondrous things. Be with yourself through God always, and never forget that you are a child of God. May God lead you back home when your time comes. And until then, make the best way possible to feel this earth also as one of the homes you've known and loved and adored and enjoyed. Beloved one of God, I'll be seeing you.
Come into my world, the world of the elven song, magical.